Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all folks in between, and welcome to Aunt Millicent's cooking show. Hey, y'all, and welcome back to the show. I heard there was a little excitement on my last episode. I left my niece in charge. I hope she did a good job. She wasn't too happy when she left, but then again, she's kind of never happy. So, anyway, I'm back and I'm ready to make a nice new recipe with you guys. Now we're going to make what I call a strawberry crumble. It's a real easy dessert that you can make. There's not a whole lot of fancy ingredients or anything. You just need some berries and you just need some basic, kitchen ingredients for it. And you can actually substitute the strawberries for raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, whatever kind of berries you can get a hold of, or whatever's in season or whatever is on sale, right? So tonight's recipe is strawberry crumble. And without further ado, I'm going to apron up and let's get cooking. Okay, y'all, let's get right into those ingredients. The first thing you're going to need are some berries. I got 2 tubs of strawberries, fresh, right from the store. And again, you can substitute anything, any fruit, like a berry type thing that's fresh. So whatever you're into, it's cool, okay? We need a little bit of cornstarch. You need a tablespoon of cornstarch. You're going to need 1/4 cup of regular granulated sugar, okay? And 1/3 cup of brown sugar, okay? The next thing you're going to need is rolled oats. This is going to give us our little crumble on top. It's going to be real tasty, okay? So just buy some rolled oats at the store. The next thing you're going to need is flour. You're going to need 1/3 of a cup. By the way, you need 1/3 of the cup of the brown sugar, the oats, and also 1/3 of a cup of flour. These are what's going to make the crumble that's on top, okay? And you're going to need about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, okay? That'll give it a nice little flavor. You're also going to need 1/4 of a stick of butter, okay? And that's going to go also into the crumble, okay? And while we're talking about crumble, if you've got a food processor or anything that chops food or pulverizes food, use it, because you're gonna take all these things and put them in something and grind them up and make a nice little crumble on top. If you don't have one of those things, just mix everything together and things will turn out okay. All right, so fear not. Okay, and then finally, and this is completely optional, but let me tell you what makes it really good when it's nice and piping hot is some whipped cream on top. You can use my recipe from episode 2 to make some homemade if you don't have any, or you can use the spray stuff at the store that everybody just loves to, put it right in your mouth and shoot it in there. So, oh, that sounds kind of nasty. Anyway, so that's our recipe. Let's get going. All right, y'all, before you get started, I want you to make sure you go to your stove or your oven, I should say, and go ahead and turn it on to 350 degrees. So I want to do that right now, okay? You do it with me, okay? See you in a minute. Okay, that was easy enough. Okay, the next step we're going to do is we're going to cut up all our berries, okay? So I've got strawberries, and you just lop the green stuff off the top and usually cut it in half or fourths, whatever you feel good with. And just toss them into a strainer or a bowl. Okay, I have a colander here and I want to put them in there. When I'm done, I'm going to wash them all off and then we're going to combine them with a couple more ingredients. Okay, so let me speed this next part up. Okay, y'all, I've got my strawberries cut up. You can see they're nice and filled. I also washed them in the sink or in the colander. So make sure you wash them off real good, okay? So our next step is to take our 1/4 cup of sugar, regular granulated sugar, and put it into that, okay? Our next step is to take a full tablespoon of cornstarch. That's gonna go in there, okay? Now what this combo is gonna do is when I mix it all together, it's going to start activating these strawberries, and it's going to make a strawberry kind of a glaze or a goo or whatever you want to call it when I mix it all up here. So it's already kind of starting to form. That's pretty, you can't see it, but it'll make soften these guys up real good and sweeten them too, like they need sweetening. So strawberries are wonderful, almost like candy to me. Okay, so we're just going to set this aside. And I'm going to go get the food processor. That's exciting, isn't it? Okay, y'all. Now that we've got the berries cut up, I think we're ready for the crumble that's going to go on top. So I brought out my food processor. I've had this in my house since I don't know when. It's old enough to have metal parts on the inside. So, and I've made so many things with this thing, you know, soups, everything you could possibly think of. So we're going to make the crumble. The very first thing we're going to add to our crumble is 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Okay, that's going to be that part. We also need to take our rolled oats, and we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of that. Everything is in thirds here until the last thing. Okay. Next thing I want to do is grab my bug-proof flour container here. I want to get a third of a cup of flour. That's going to go in there just like that. Okay. The last true dry ingredient is going to be cinnamon. So I have half a teaspoon of that. And I have this isn't cinnamon sugar now. This is just regular cinnamon. Okay. So don't get too crazy with that sugar. You already got a ton of sugar in those berries anyway. Okay. So there we go. Now, that's not all the ingredients. The last thing I've done is we're going to add some butter to this. Okay. So what I did is I have a fourth of a cup, which is 1/2 of a stick. And I cut it into smaller chunks. Okay. I just took my knife, split it once, then split it 3 times. Okay. And that's going to go in our blender. Okay. So it's going to, kind of look odd for a minute here. But there we go. Okay. This is the basics of the crumble that goes on top. So what we have to do is blend this guy together, and the butter and everything's going to get pulverized. Okay. So once it gets pulverized, it'll make a nice little kind of a thing on top that can put on top of our strawberries. That can go be baked for a while, then whip it all up and it'll come out. It'll almost be like a strawberry cobbler with not so much goo in it. Okay. And I appear to have misplaced the lid. So I'm going to get the lid and I'll be right back. Okay, there's our lid. This thing right here, this is a chute for, potatoes and veggies. But since we're not putting anything in it, we're going to cover it up and let's go. Hope it doesn't make too much of a racket. Okay. So you can just pulse it down. Again, if you don't have one of these guys or something equivalent of it, you can just mix everything up as good as you can. And you may want to crumble your butter up into even smaller pieces than my little chunks I did. This little guy right here will take care of all those butter chunks. Okay. Okay. So I can pop the lid off if I can remember which way to turn it, which I can't for some reason. There we go. And you get this, I don't know how well we can see it, this crumble. So this is going to go on top of our strawberries. So I'm going to bring those back into the shot and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, it's time to combine the fruit. So I've got my strawberries. I have an 8x8 pan and they're going to go here in the bottom. This one's disposable. They're great. And in that short time that my strawberries sat in that mixture of sugar and cornstarch, they have leached out this wonderful little strawberry kind of a goo. Okay, very sweet too. Okay, so now, and you will not probably have enough to cover this, okay, completely, but it doesn't matter. Think of it as just a topping. So we're going to spoon out our crumble, okay, and put it in there like that. Okay, when we're done with this, just cover it the best you can. It's not meant to. I probably have too many strawberries, but you know what? You can't have too many strawberries. Am I right? So let's just cover it as well as we can. And if you've pulverized the butter enough, the butter, you won't even see it anymore. It's just in there, y'all. Okay. So this is going to go in the oven for about 35 minutes or so. And when we pull it out, it should be kind of fruity, bubbly kind of, okay? So I'm going into the oven and we'll let it cook, okay? Okay, y'all. And there it is. And you can see it has a nice little bit of strawberry wonderfulness in there, okay? So that's what it should look like when it comes out. Okay, those are my nice new oven mitts that my producer has made. So I'm showing them off a little bit. So there you go. So meet me in the dining room and we'll partake in this wonderful little dessert. Okay, y'all, we made it to the dining room and I can't wait to dig into my strawberry crumble. But before I do so, I've got a little bit of an enhancement to put on it. I did bring in the whipped cream, so Got to have some of that, right? I'm going to resist the urge to put this, you know, right in my mouth. So let's put the Ready Whip aside and give it a shot. And that looks really good. It's warm, sweet, and a little bit of you know, texture in there with our topping. And the whipped cream really sets it off. So I can't tell you how good that is. So you just have to try it yourself. This is an easy dessert to make. You can make it once you're done making dinner. You can shove the ingredients together and shove them in the oven. And by the time you're finished eating, well, your dessert's ready for you. Okay. And it's relatively low cal, really, except for the sugar, I guess. But anyway, that's the show. Thank you for joining me again. And with that, I will sign off with a happy and healthy bon appetit.